Hello and welcome to an extra special episode of the Sales Operations Demystified podcast. It's special for two reasons. It's the first time we've ever had two people live in the studio.
Sales Ops sandwich.
And the second reason is also the first time we've had a recruitment company here. And we were just discussing before about the challenges that sales ops may, or almost maybe the non-existence of sales ops departments in recruitment companies. And we have a very interesting story here because Natasha and Kimberly actually created the sales ops department in Austin Fraser, the recruitment company. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
And so we're going to kick off with the first question. How did you guys get into sales ops? It's quite an interesting route that Austin Fraser and you guys have taken.
Sure. Shall I go?
Yeah. Cool.
So I've been with Austin Fraser for 9 years this year. I actually came in through the sales route, like straight from university. So I've only actually ever worked for Austin Fraser. I know no different. But we're quite a progressive company, so I've kind of worked up from a trainee level to like a senior level. I got into a sort of team leadership route where I had quite a small team of 3 people. And about 18 months ago, I transferred internally to our central services function. Essentially, I was kind of project managing some quite key like business projects. So that included things like our GDPR project. That was actually a really good opportunity for me because it allowed me to interact with every stakeholder within the business and kind of learn what was working for them, not working for them, spotting opportunities, whilst delivering that project. But I suppose equally things like a HubSpot integration from a systems point of view, and some other tools along the way. So that kind of was quite a good starting block to start to understand, hang on here, where's the opportunities, where's the gaps, like what's kind of cause and effect on how we're working collectively as a business. And then I suppose when you came back from maternity leave, we started to work more closely together, and I'll let you pick up from there.
Thanks. So I've been at Austin Fraser for 7 years. Have done a number of jobs. So joined in learning and development, set up their learning and development function, then set up their people and culture function, and decided, hey, let's set something else up. It's just what I do. So I stepped away from, I guess, the people and culture focus and I had a hunger to get back into more of a commercially focused role as well. And I guess, similar to Kim, I came back from maternity last year, was handed lots of lovely projects, and realised the theme across these projects is sales operations. It's actually how we maximise our sales tools. How are we, actually using them effectively? Are they fit for purpose? Just controlling them, maintaining them, all of that stuff is what was handed to us. So we've been unofficially working on it since, September really, officially together, and then put the business case together for this new financial year to have a sales ops function. We were born 1st of March. Woo! So
it got officially recognised by the business on the 1st of March of this year.
Yes.
And you have the financial year budget signed off.
And we've got 5 key objectives for this year that would take us to the end of this financial period, which this year is a short period because we're moving our financial periods. Very confusing. So basically by the end of October, we've got quite a lot of stuff to deliver.
But you're also hiring for
at the moment, for this financial period, we've only got to sign off for 1 person, which is a graduate replacement. So if anyone out there wants to join us,
for sure.
We're looking for an analyst to join us and help create return on investment, basic reporting structure across our whole business.
Is there a job description for that we can share?
Totally.
For sure. So it will be linked somewhere below this video /audio. Okay, cool. And one question about that.
Yes.
So you guys were like doing sales operations projects together. They weren't labeled that. Yeah. How did you realize that actually this was sales operations? Did you like Google, you were doing some forecasting, you're like sales forecasting, and then you saw this stuff about this is actually sales operations? Or
I think it was just more evolutionary actually, because I think, as I said, I've been doing project stuff for 18 months, but I suppose through that work, I've been speaking to suppliers and been kind of going, hey guys, we can get some training, or we should maybe look at this in a different way. And I think I didn't actually know what sales operations was, I'll be completely honest. And it wasn't until really we kicked off like a big BI project, we started opening a can of worms and going down different routes, reading different things. And that's kind of when we started to learn this is a thing.
And we realised there was such confusion around who owned what, who was taking accountability for what, who was driving what. And we realised there is no one doing that, actually. Let's look at this. Hang on, the themes are our sales tools, our sales tech stack,
and driving efficiency.
Driving efficiency, measuring it. If we get to a point where we're looking to renew a contract with a supplier, it's like, do we need this? Has it worked? Or it's just it's been gut feel historically. Oh yeah, we definitely got some stuff from that. Yeah, let's go for it. Whereas now, I guess bringing us together over the last couple of months, we're able to pull out, actually, this is what we've got from it. This is what's worked. This is our recommendations. So then we can make informed decisions as a business, whether we renew a tool or not.
And on that point, what is the current sales tech stack?
Wow.
So we
Which
have,
country?
Yeah, so I think, as kind of Nella was alluding to, we've got quite a patchwork quilt. I think from a common ground perspective, we use Bullhorn from the CRM, which is like recruitment specific.
For everybody.
Correct, yeah, that's
so
right.
How many countries are we in and how many people?
We have 3 countries and we have
152 sales staff.
Yeah. 200
So,
staff, and how many office locations?
So we're in 3 countries. We've got 3 offices in America. We're just about to open 2 more over the next 6 months.
Yeah. Cool.
We've got 3 offices in Germany, which we will be hopefully opening another one in the next 12 months or so. And then we've got Reading in the UK as our headquarters for the whole UK.
Sure. So the ratio, I've been trying to track the operations personnel to salespeople ratio. This is one of the highest, 175. I think we've had before 1:80. He wasn't actually a guest. I think it was Matthias who was he was on the chat. So there's 2 of you. There's 155 salespeople
currently.
Over
soon
3,
to be as a staff. We're gonna,
but we're going to grow the sales department, aren't we?
Let's hope so.
I get old very quickly.
Over 3 countries. Bullhorn is used throughout.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what else?
So we also globally use Broadbean, which is like a parsing tech tool. Insight Squared is our BI tool.
Yeah.
And then we've got kind of a few different ones country to country. So obviously in Germany we use Ebster. We don't use that anywhere else. We've got things like Sourcebreaker in the US and the UK, but not in Germany. So
what does Sourcebreaker do?
Sourcebreaker's it's quite a cool it's that kind of candidate parsing technology. So it's like smart searching. So it just basically kind of allows you to do like one wider reach search of your candidates and leads basically, and will allow you to kind of compare job boards and through your system. So it's just more of like a enablement tool, wider reaching tool, so that you can catch people quicker and faster. It's cool.
And obviously, as of last week, globally, we now have Odro as a sales tool.
The video thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So I guess the way of the world, everything's becoming more video. Even our internal comms. So for those of you that follow us on Instagram or on LinkedIn would have seen yesterday we did our second all hands comms, which is where our CEO talks to every country, every office live, and we actually broadcast it live. But if anyone else externally wanted to see it as well, which was really cool. Yeah, so just the way of the world, the way of our business is going more video. So we started to consider different video recruitment tools that we could utilize with clients and enable them to have that service when they're recruiting. So after much consideration, we went with Odro, who are amazing.
Were you guys driving that?
Yeah, so we kind of owned the project from start to finish.
So this is your baby.
It's our first baby.
Yeah,
the first child together.
Our first child. Well, so where it came from originally was, so our CDO, who is one of our co-founders, Derek Simpson, he was tapped up by Odro, classic BD, and he was like, I know this is something we need, but he's like, what do I do with this? Where do I go with it? He's our CDO. He hasn't got the time to be dealing with this. Again, another reason for a sales operations function like ours. Hello.
The dream team.
Yeah, and we brought it alive. So after considering other, suppliers, we've gone with Odro because it is just so easy. But what I love about it is there's 2 elements. One is the offering a video interview. You can do it, offer a private conference room if you like for candidates and clients with no need to kind of sign up to anything. But what we also love is the capture, which is basically a business development element where you record yourself and you send it via LinkedIn or you send it on email, and the impact so today we've had our first deal off the back of it after 1 week.
Yeah.
So
nice. The ROI is looking good.
Yeah, loving it.
Sweet.
We're like, keep doing it.
Yeah. So at the moment we've got a variety of tech that is global and local, and I guess that's off the back of historically, if you are head of sales in that country, you've had a lot of autonomy to just buy what you want when you want because it's sat within your budget.
Yeah.
And I guess with the creation of us, we're now kind of going, okay, cool. Do we need that? How are you using it? What's working? What's not working? Actually, are you the best person to make that decision now, or are you a key stakeholder?
I think to add to that as well, where the guys in sales are naturally really busy. We've got large teams now. We have obviously more of a focus to be able to go, how do we get more out of it?
Yeah.
So actually that whole marginal gains piece of going, right, okay, if we can get 10% or squeeze 10% more out of that, actually what's the knock-on effect on the bottom line, which is obviously a massive value add from a business, from an efficiency and a profitability point of view.
If you have 150 salespeople and you make them like 2%,
100%, yeah.
Then it's big gains. Okay, moving on from video to data quality.
Yeah.
How are we currently dealing with that?
It's a good question.
I think data quality is actually a really interesting topic, and I think as our business, no one's specifically owned it. Like we have quite got a 50 strong central service team, like finance, commercial, and legal. The sales, sort of talent, L&D. And I suppose everyone in their own pockets have been like responsible or accountable for quality. We haven't really looked at it from like a holistic business perspective.
Until now.
We do, like, we put it in our training, like we have quite a vigorous training, like we kind of have the saying, if it's it's not tracked, it's not fact, and that's kind of a bit of a funny thing to try and drive that behaviour. But I think what I find quite interesting about data quality is that it all comes back to what does good actually look like, and that can vary massively depending on who the individual is, who the business is, who the team is. And I suppose having looked at a lot of stuff and tried to read on it, I've never found an answer to what good looks like. It's always been why it's important. So I think it's us going through that process, with the right people, commercial, marketing, sales, to define what good looks like, and then we can get to that point where we can police it a little bit more.
And that is one of our big projects for this year and next year.
100%.
So we literally just this week have commenced, I guess, one of our biggest objectives, which is a CRM review. So as a sales ops team, we need to present to the exec team at the end of this financial period what our recommendations are for the CRM and those things connected to it.
Rather than potentially switching away from Bull.
That is one option.
Not the preferred option.
Not the preferred, no, just because it is embedded and it is recruitment specific, and it's a market leader. But it hasn't been reconfigured for many years. We currently have 4 instances, so we don't have a global CRM. We have one for each country, which is now, as we're growing, is massively limiting our ability to offer a global approach to a client. That's just horrendous. So, option 1, a different CRM. Option 2 is we stay as we are, but we clean it up with more of an AF best practice or standard, if you like. And then, or C is we bring them together. And I think
decisions to be made.
Big decisions. We've got between now and October to research that, cost that, come up with timelines and everything else. I've got the joy of presenting that to the exec team in October. And I guess along with that for me is, as we then start that project, quality is going to be coming into that. What our standards are, what should be our configuration, what is mandatory, what's the level that we expect. If you speak to a client, what's the minimum you should be putting on the database with regards to that call.
And you're going to be driving that project once it gets approved. It's going to be yours.
I don't know if I want to say that live on the podcast. I think we will be the drivers behind that, but there are a number of key people. So, for example, our commercial and legal team are actually starting to build a quality team. So our commercial and legal team have contractor care, which I guess is the aftercare for a lot of all our contractors are out working for us in clients. So they're going to be playing a big part in this. We've also got our VP of finance, who is just about to move to America. Just his financial and analytical mind, he's going to be a key project team member as well. So it's going to be a collective. And I just think for anything like this to land, you need to do it as a collective, otherwise it won't.
I want to focus on influencing salespeople now. So almost every interview I do, someone will mention how important it is to develop soft skills that can get people to do things. So you guys just rolled out this video tool, and it seems like adoption is going well. How did you do that?
So I guess there's two things. I guess the first thing that we're really lucky to have, and we can't rest on it, is our background. We've both come from recruitment. We've both done recruitment. I've been in it 12 years. Kim's been in it 9. So, and Kim's obviously done it. She's been amongst the troops with the guys. So I think that helps us massively. We speak their language. And also when we look at something, we go, well, that doesn't work. So we're not coming at it from an analytical or a project manager or BA perspective. Like we're coming from a I guess a sales perspective.
Like you have credibility in their eyes because you've done it for like 8 years.
I think fundamentally, having like worked in sales for quite a long time, And the way I see our role is ultimately to make their job easier and more efficient, so they have more opportunity to make more money.
If it
And
doesn't,
that's what they care about, right? Salespeople care about making more money.
You talk their language.
Talk their language, yeah.
Yeah, but
It's not just that.
But I also think that's what. So if I think about I think my strap line on my LinkedIn at the top is about enabling our salespeople to be the best that they can be. So whether, if to the best of them is I'm going to make the most money, cool. But for some people that's not their driver. Some it's about they genuinely want to be the best and deliver the best service or whatever. So I feel like anything we do in sales ops should not be limiting. It should absolutely. So I think you said earlier it's about removing, improving.
Yeah. So what does it add? What does it improve? Or what does it remove? Kind of the three key questions that anything that we onboard, we need to go, how does this enable us to raise the bar? Because we are constantly a type of company that we like to raise the bar often.
I think also it's about I guess because I've done L&D and Kim's obviously trained stuff as well. I think that's a big part as well. Yeah. How do you land something? How do you bring the audience on board? So again, we've kind of got that experience, which is great. But I think you said their adoption's gone well. Like we're having some wins from it after week 1, but actually we know there could be more. So even today before we came, the last thing we did was we pulled all the leaders into a room. We booked a 30-minute meeting with all the leaders, and we just had a really open conversation to go, cool, we've had it a week. Is the usage where we want it to be? No, it's not what we all agreed. So what more do you need from us? What more do you need from the supplier? What's stopping you from pushing this out? Just asking the questions. They came up with some really valid feedback on things that we can learn. And also telling us what more they would need from us, but also then them going, actually, we probably should do some more of this ourselves. So I think it's like, don't shy away. If stuff's not working, just have a conversation about it. Like, we could have left it another week, but, catch it while, what's that saying? Catch it while it's hot. Me and my sayings.
I think if we taking Nodra as an example, we've been really keen to take everyone on a journey from starting with top down. Yeah. So we've agreed very clear, how do we want to use it? What do we want to get out of it? What's it going to offer to our candidates, our clients, our communities, our consultants? And really having those conversations top down so we can articulate that in the right way from a training point of view or from a management point of view, and just make sure that everyone's on point with the message of why we're trying to use it.
Because we already had in our mind why we'd use it and what we think it should be, but it's about then engaging them and then ultimately come up with something that we all agree with. Yeah.
Do you currently have a process for onboarding new consultants?
I think we're really fortunate where we have a solid L&D team.
This was your work, right?
Yeah.
It's changed a lot now since I did. We've got some really great people in there now that are just smashing out the park.
So if I join as a consultant, I have a structured program.
Yeah, absolutely. So you'd have if you're a consultant, you'd have a welcome week or specific onboarding plan. So obviously most of the people we recruit into the business are salespeople. But if you were a sales ops person, you'd have a slightly different onboarding plan. But I think from a sales perspective, they then have quite a vigorous training schedule, if you like. So we call it S1. So that's really all the technical elements of their role, or the selling elements of their role. So how you pitch, how you converse with a client, objection handling, for example. But it doesn't just stop there. It is all practical. They have to, a bit of an apprenticeship pack, if you like, to make sure they've signed off their competencies that they work on with their manager. They have a kind of mentor on desk or a manager to support that.
I think before we went live, I guess we were talking about a recruitment business and having a sales operations function within a recruitment business. I think where maybe we've kind of been late on the uptake of a sales ops function in comparison to other sales organizations, because we obviously were saying that a lot of the sales companies we've heard on here or at the meetups that we've been going to are they're not recruitment businesses. Sales ops seems to be one of the first functions that they're kind of bringing in. For I guess where we've maybe not done that, one of the things we absolutely do is invest in the people side. So we've had L&D, from the word go, basically, as a business. So it's very mature, our L&D offering.
Do you think that's more common in recruitment companies?
That's from my experience. You start a recruitment company, you get in a talent acquisition consultant who normally covers both L&D and talent acquisition. Once it gets bigger, they then split those two. That seems to be what I see a lot. It's about, I guess, developing the sales guys to be the best sales guys they can be, no matter what tools they've got.
I think what I love about the L&D function is not just like the onboarding piece. We have programs throughout the duration of that individual's career. So it would be like, right, okay, you're a trainee, then you get to consultant, then you get to senior principal, leadership training, like
Continual
the
learning.
whole way through.
Recruitment companies are really good at this. We just have a question from the audience.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm just going to get up. Hi guys, from Liam.
Hi.
Hi Liam, how are you? If you have any questions, anybody watching, just ping them in the chat. Okay, cool. So summary, recruitment companies normally have the onboarding pretty much nailed down. One more question.
Not for every recruitment company, but
Austin Fraser,
I definitely get the impression that's something where they invest first. Yeah, Austin Fraser nails it.
How long would you typically expect it from someone joining to them like being 90% productive?
I think we try and get people up and running in 3 months, but from experience, I would say for someone to be really good at their trade, it takes 12 to 18 months. I think the beauty of it, and it's probably the same for other sales business, you can go as quickly or slowly as you need to, but I think that 3 month is like, cool, let's get you contributing and trained, etc. But actually to be at that kind of next layer level from a senior point onwards, you need to sort of have 18 months on.
Sure. Okay, so you currently have 155 salespeople in 3 countries.
Yeah.
What are you doing to try and boost their productivity?
Good question.
So purely from a sales ops perspective.
Yeah, just like what are you two doing?
Cool. So I guess there's been so much that we've been looking at. I guess so. If I take a step back, so the first thing we want to do is okay, what tools have we actually got?
Yeah.
Who are our suppliers, and what can we get from our suppliers that we're not already getting? So for example, I know a number of our suppliers actually offer us free training and free consultancy to come and enable us to maximize those tools that we've never done before. So we're starting to have conversations and build those relationships with suppliers because we've never had them. We've kind of like been working with them for years. Ebster is an example of that, where we've kind of had you guys for years and we're just kind of plodding on, but actually what more could we be learning from you to maximize that tool? And then actually passing that knowledge on to the sales guys in whatever format that is appropriate. So whether that be passing out onto L&D so that it is literally gospel and is in there forever, whether that be kind of one-off workshops. So already, for example, with Odro, we've kind of done that basic training to roll it out. But we're already talking about once it's kind of people are up and running with it, in 6 weeks' time, there'll be a sales ops led short, sharp training sessions maybe but with the sales leaders. So we can kind of like partner up and do it. So I guess, maximizing our tools, utilizing supplier information and supplier knowledge is a big one. And running training sessions ourselves. But I guess it's also about knowledge. So at the moment, a number of our sales tools we just use. LinkedIn Recruiter is one of our most costly tools that we have across our business. Everyone uses it. Everyone knows we get business from it. But up until Sales Ops was put together, well, actually the month before we put together, Kim for the first time actually pulled off the dashboard and shared it with people to show, what key things are great in terms of how we're using it, but also what we're not doing. And I think that's the thing is information. So then as a leader, I can then make a call on actually what can I do with my guys to drive this. So for example, our email response back from people is lower than actually we'd like it to be, or lower than the recommended amount from LinkedIn, which again, what's that supposed to be? Do we even know what that is? So for me, it's those three.
And I think to add to that, like where the perhaps disconnect between sales and L&D has been before, it's like, cool, sales, they've owned it, they've implemented it, they do sales, but L&D train it. But actually, what information are we capturing and feeding back so we can catch trends early, so we can loop that back into L&D, so we can loop that back into sales, so actually it doesn't become an issue we can catch it early and we can deal with it earlier, basically.
So would you say the core part of your role is going to these tools, understanding actually what's happening in the data, what no one was doing that before, and then using that to make decisions to make people more productive?
Drive decisions, drive behaviours, basically. But there is so much more we could be doing. I guess, the reality is we've been going officially for 3 months, and in that 3 months we've had a lot of other stuff to be doing. But I think once we're kind of up and running and we've got some of these big projects off our plate, I guess the BAU stuff for me, like the how regular are we sharing ROI on all our tools and reports and everything else, and what information and what education are we giving? I think that we need to map all that out still. So asking that question again in 18 months, I'll be able to say loads more.
Are you currently, or like, what are the KPIs that you're currently focusing on?
That was a wild question, by the way. I got that through this morning. I was like, whoa. I think the KPIs, we sort of layer it, I suppose, because you can, like, we did a investigation, didn't we, a few months ago? Well, Insight Squared, I think we worked out like 180 different metrics we capture from all the spreadsheets that we got from people. I suppose part of that process for us was going, what's important. And I suppose to be fair, like our CRO was kind of already working on some of this stuff, but we've now got layers. So like our high performing teams, we talk a lot about like yield per head and deal per head, which is obviously how many deals per head is a sales rep contributing, and yield is like how much have they billed in sales, obviously divided across the team. So that's what we determine a high performing team, and they talk about that a lot.
They're the two top level figures that you'll hear kind of your brand directors talking about, your CRO, all the cheeses will be talking about that.
Yield per head and deals per head.
So the reason there's two is that yield is obviously value. So the higher the value, the higher the performance, but deals is about consistency. So you could have a consultant which has done, 25 grand, for example, but one deal, and that's great, but is that consistent? So if they're doing, 2 deals at 20, that's it's kind of quality and volume, basically.
And you get that data per team level. So you'd have that, say a team of 4 consultants, you'd have the yield per head and deals per head for that team.
And we probably include their manager as well.
Oh, really nice. And so you have a leaderboard for the teams.
That is that not included in that sales report that we've so
yes, you're right, it is.
Yes. So we kind of, so our CRO became CRO probably a year ago. And I guess with him moving into that role, there's been a lot of change around kind of what we're reporting, what KPIs we want to look at. So our actual new standardized KPIs were really only released probably this financial year, but we're in the making with him and our brand directors for quite some time. It's the first time we've had standardized KPIs across our whole business that go top down for the first time in 12 years.
Oh, wow. Is that data shared with the individual teams?
It's quite transparent. Like
our CRO sends out a report, so he sent out. So again, it's this, because that was what the business asked us. So what I love about Austin Fraser is they listen to the feedback. So we do best companies to work for, and we do our own engagement surveys, and actually what's the company doing, what's our company performance has been kind of we want to know the what's and all. So we've started to deliver new sales reports actually so our CRO did the first one last month.
And I think we've got things like end of month meetings where we'll present like what team's done what, because there's a little bit of competition. Everyone wants to, be up there really. So it's just good from a transparency perspective and performance perspective.
And the relatively new report is contribution, isn't it? Which showed each individual team and what percentage they can contribute to the whole business, which I thought was really nice.
In a leaderboard.
Well, kind of. It was a leaderboard, but it was a leaderboard.
We have a question from Liam. Is the relationship between sales, product, and operations crucial? If so, what's the best way to unite these teams? Now, does that make sense? Can you read it? So
sales, product, and operations.
It may be slightly tricky.
Product are our people.
So connecting sales, which are also your people, and then operations and your product, it's kind of all the same thing with you guys.
Do you mean people as in our internal staff, or
no? I think it means your
so sales team, and then I guess product. I'm interpreting that as
our candidates.
As our candidates.
Okay,
that's
cool.
How so, or is Liam? Do you mean as in our tools, like the products we're working on, or do you actually mean the people?
Let's give Liam a chance to clarify. If not, we'll try and tackle it after the final question. So, who has taught you the most about sales operations?
This is also an interesting question. So, like when we sort of first started this, and I didn't actually officially work for you, I worked for our director of people and culture. I had like a little internal source of frustration because I couldn't actually share my experiences with anyone, because I've had great been very lucky to work with some really great sales managers, some great people directors, and I've learned a lot through those kind of relationships. But no one's done sales ops in our business, so you kind of think about a problem and no one can necessarily answer it. So that's when I kind of started looking out for communities, and that's where I found the like Sales Ops Network. That's where I found your podcast. I suppose what I do is always kind of connect with the individual, follow the company, and then I see lots of content, and that kind of content and reading piece is a good validation for me and going to those events. So
don't say Henry though.
Don't say Henry.
We learned from Henry.
We actually
at the meetup. Yeah,
he told us to come on.
Oh, did
it was his fault.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I remember. And how about you?
Kim does all that and tells me.
She summarizes.
Come along.
I tend to just so this is why we're here, is because I'll be really honest, I've never done sales operations. I've kind of I've gone full circle. So before joining sales, I was actually an actuarial assistant, and before that was a fund administrator many moons ago. So kind of got out of data, and now I feel like I've fallen back into it. Yeah, but I kind of just I'm really driven by my gut, and I will get it if I'll just go and find it. I'll just go and find the answer. I use Google a lot, and just reading books, and a lot you've recommended to me book-wise.
I think what's been really refreshing though is that kind of every meetup that we've gone to, or things that we've maybe read or heard, is it in line with how we feel? Yeah. So it's more of like a validation piece. It's like, okay, we're not just making it up. We are talking some sort of sense. It's not just like up here. Yeah.
I think listening to some of the Sales Ops podcasts that we've done previously, it was really refreshing. I was like, we are totally doing the right thing. We're on the right path. Yeah. And we should keep going with this. This is definitely what we should be doing as a business. So so basically you are our source of development.
No, thanks so much.
No pressure.
I mean, but clearly the business also values it as well, because you have funding signed off for a department that never existed before.
Yeah, and I think if you were to look at it in simple terms, we've been a sales operations department and not necessarily done sales operations, but I think what is really great about kind of our relationship and how we work is that, as Nella was saying earlier, we've got 16 years between us at Austin Fraser. We know the business like the back of our hand. Like, we've experienced different areas of the business. So I think it really is about knowing the business, knowing the culture, and then fitting the pieces into the puzzle, which we're really, really good at. So
and we're also really comfortable at having difficult conversations. So to get that backing to have this department, I stood there and said, for you to achieve the aggressive growth plans you've got, you cannot do it on gut feel. You need to do it on data-driven decisions, and you need to be able to have access to that data. And actually it's just not sustainable. Like, we are amazing, and the success we've had, not me as a me Kim, as a business, we're amazing too. Austin Fraser is amazing, and I think if we have got to where we've got on the systems as they are, like, if we can literally just clean them up a little bit and have already, like, Kim's improved our configuration massively, so we can pull out more information. I just think if we've done that in such a short period of time, I'm so excited to see where we can go with a sales ops function. I guess testament to Kim's work. For the first time in the 7 years we've had Insight Squared as a BI tool, our CEO logged into it and he actually used it, and he didn't use his own method of counting deal emails. He actually used the dashboard that Kim set up for him. So I'm like, if you can culturally change the mindset of the founder and CEO, you're nailing it. Yes, Kim. So I just think,
Okay, cool. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. That was pretty long. One of the longest, but no, that was good.
We like to talk, and there's two of us, so it's okay.
Actually, one more question. You mentioned a book. Like, I actually couldn't find any books really around sales operations. Or was it a book like?
So it's not necessarily a sales operations book. I think for me, I take a lot of learning from different perspectives.
Okay.
So one of the ones I've been reading is a book by Beth Comstock. It's called Imagine It Forward. Beth Comstock was the ex-CMO of GE. Okay. So, like, the whole book's around, like, her innovation journey and lots of bits and pieces. Really, really good book. I'd recommend it.
Nice.
And it talks about change.
Which fundamentally is a lot of what we do.
So I appreciate sales ops functions are different in every business. Ours is about bringing change.
Positive change.
Woo!
And on that note, we will end the webinar. Thanks so much, guys.